right, fellas, I saw Smashing Machine recently, and you know, the new Rock movie. Everybody knows. I hope everybody knows. I don't know. Maybe everybody doesn't know. I have no idea. Anyway, I just saw that movie recently, and I just want to look at the reviews and decide right now, do I agree with the critic ratings on Rotten Tomatoes? Let's find out, fellas. So I heard about Smashing Machine a while back, I don't know, a few months ago, and I said it was an A24 movie, and I was like, well, it's A24, so I'm already kind of hyped. And y'all know, if y'all see my videos in the past, that A24 is one of my favorite film production companies, you know what I'm saying? They make a lot of my favorite movies, you know what I'm saying? So like, I really was like, this is about to be hard. And then I learned that it was gonna be The Rock, and I'm like, ooh, The Rock only really knows how to play himself lately, I feel like. Like, he's not even a bad actor. He just seems like he's always playing himself. And I was like, oh God. But then the trailer dropped, and I was like, hey, yo, is this man The Rock playing a different character that's not just Dwayne Johnson, bro? I was like, hold up, he ain't in the jungle. He ain't doing none of that crazy nonsense he always does. He ain't being the super cocky, annoying bastard, bro. He's literally playing a character that's like a serious role. And it's based off a real person that I actually have to admit I don't really know much about. I don't really know him that well because I didn't watch like the UFC at all, bro. I'm sorry. But I know that I was just going in blind, and I just was like, yo, The Rock is playing a real dude. And he's actually like, his acting chops are really starting to show a little bit in this trailer. I don't know. So I was like, all right, naturally, I've been waiting for The Rock to start acting like a real actor for a long time, man. I was like, I cannot wait to see this movie. So I locked in, I pulled up to the theater, and I pulled up to see Smashing Machine. So before I check the rating, I'm going to sit here and talk about what I thought about the movie first, and then we're going to see what the rating was at the very end of the video to see what's popping. These videos aren't going to be very long, okay? It's just not going to be. But basically, when I pulled up to this theater and started watching this movie, right away, I was like, hey, yo, this man, like I saw in the trailer, it seems like Dwayne Johnson is actually kind of acting his butt off. And that's one thing that I will say is like very noticeable in this movie. And it's not just The Rock, but in general, the acting is like extremely good in this movie. Like between him and Emily Blunt and everyone else that appears in this movie, the acting is really freaking entertaining to watch. I should have said this in the beginning, but there are going to be spoilers in this movie or in this review, because I'm not gonna not spoil it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna lock it in. I'm just talking about the movie. But yeah, the acting is like extremely good, and it's honestly surprising to see Dwayne Johnson act so well, because I'm so used to seeing him just be The Rock, and it's like, I don't know, it was just impressive to see, because I just wasn't, I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I wanted him to be good, but I don't know, it was like, for the first time I was able to really lose seeing The Rock in the movie. Like, you know, every time you see The Rock, you're like, oh, he's just playing The Rock. You can't really unsee it. But like in other movies with other people, you know, you can see a character, well, you see the actor, but you get lost in what they're playing, so you're not thinking about who the actor is, you're thinking about the character that they're playing as. And a lot of the time with The Rock, even when you know what character he's playing, you still think it's The Rock. It doesn't really matter. You're just like, oh, I'm just watching The Rock, and you're not having a bad time usually. You're just kind of like, oh, it's just The Rock. But I swear, dude, watching this movie for the first time in many, mmany years, I was watching it and I was like, yo, it feels like I'm watching a character. I'm watching Mark Kerr. I'm not watching Dwayne Johnson. And it's like what he does. He basically has a way that he talks to try to match how Mark Kerr really sounded, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was the way, like, the inflections in his voice and his speech patterns that really kind of changed the way you see who was acting this role. It didn't feel like it was The Rock. It felt like he was playing somebody else. And yeah, I suppose sometimes the delivery felt a little bit like The Rock was coming through, I guess, but it wasn't super drastic. Like, I feel like I was very immersed in the character he was playing, which it hasn't happened in a long time for him. And I was just super impressed. And then Emily Blunt's character, well, Emily Blunt in general, I'm sorry, is just extremely good. She's super convincing, and has all this raw emotion that is very, very much shown and expressed through the way she's acting. It feels like you can feel every bit of pain and every bit of happiness and every other extreme emotion that she feels as she's watching her, I can't remember if it was husband or boyfriend, actually, now I think about it, but her partner, we'll say, is literally moving up the ranks and trying to climb to be the best UFC champion. You know, it's like you can really feel it the way they're acting. And beyond that, the two of them have extremely strong chemistry together. It's like a surprising amount of chemistry. Like, when I seen Emily Blunt and The Rock playing in the same movie as like a couple, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna buy that. Like, even if they do their best, they just don't seem like they really mesh. But no, they are extremely convincing together on screen whenever they're doing anything, whether they're arguing with each other or they're showing love and affection to each other. It's like you can tell they're super comfortable with each other, and it really feels like a real partnership. It's kind of, I was really surprised by that. I cannot stress enough how surprised I was by this. And I really appreciate that Mark Kerr's character is really likable in this movie. movie. Like, he does certain things that isn't so likable, I guess, every now and then, but like the way his attitude and the way that The Rock delivers how he says things, it's like it's really hard to not really want to just be like on his side. But he does things the entire movie that you're like, oh God, why would you do this? That doesn't make any sense. But like at the same time, he just, I don't know, it's just the way that he portrays his character. It's like, it's all out of innocence and he's just not thinking about the actions that are actually affecting him. It's like, you can tell that everything that he does and what he's driven by is not maliciousness. He's just not aware. And it really comes down to The Rock's delivery of the character, less so, oh, well, I mean, obviously it's the script, but like, you know, it's just the delivery of how he portrays himself as a character. It's very convincing. And the story is just very compelling. Honestly, it's just watching Mark Kerr's climb to the UFC champion, and it's like, especially because like it really comes down to the fact that he's not used to losing. He wins the entire movie, and then at one point he loses, whether it was because of a cheat or not. He loses for the first time, and you really see how it breaks him down mentally, and he tries to just not show it the whole time. But the things that he starts to do, whether it's wrestling with his addiction that he eventually triumphs past, or like just anything else that it triggers emotionally, like you really can see what's going on. It's such a compelling thing to watch him go through this journey and see if he can succeed. He eventually gets over the addiction, but the problem that arises is the fact that his wife, girlfriend, partner, sorry, I don't remember specifically, is doing certain things around him that's normal stuff. Like, you know, she's drinking alcohol sometimes, or like she's taking medication for a headache, but like he's stuck in this headset of like, I just went through all of this addiction stuff and you're doing all this stuff in front of me, basically gonna have me like encouraging me to relapse. And it's just like, you watch him struggle with her because of that, to the point where she literally, spoilers, almost kills herself because of the overwhelming amount of pressure she feels and the way that she feels mistreated by him now, because he's not just this guy that's drugged up and just doing his thing. He's actually becoming more aware of things, and a little bit too, like, the word I'm gonna use is gonna sound bad, but like predatory, in the sense that he's just always in her business about everything and trying to be controlling, you know what I'm saying? It's like both of them have these extremely emotional things going on, and it's very convincing because the acting and the storyline is just done so well. And then at the very end, you know, he's got his best friend, his guy that he grew up with, that's like his trainer and everything, is fighting as well. And like there's this whole storyline of the fact that they're both competing to be the champion, and they both end up at the finals together, and they're supposed to be pitted up against each other, and they're so excited for it. But Mark kind of just decides, like, it's like he ends up losing the fight before that, and I very much, he could have probably won it, but he doesn't. The whole arc the entire time was that he couldn't get over the fact that he lost. No matter how hard people tried to tell him that losing was okay, he couldn't get over it. And at the very end, he's like, he accepts loss. He embraces it. It's like, I'm telling you, it's like he could have won it. He was just like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna win. And he's like, yo, my boy is gonna be the one to win. And he smiles at the end like, yeah, you know what? It is what it is. I lost and I ate it. And you can really see that trajectory, that arc that he went through. And it's so satisfying to see how that happened, you know? Like, it's just very entertaining to watch. And like, it's just a very emotional journey that I was glad to have endured, especially when you think about the fact that, like I said, it's The Rock playing this character. Like, it's like, it's actually impressive. Now, I've been talking greatly about this movie the whole time, but I don't even actually in my head imagine it higher than a 7 out of 10 for me personally. And that is because though the storyline is very, very like unique, and it feels like it's like very compelling, it's also a little bit messy in terms of like the pacing of it. Like, there are just basically too many arcs going on at the same time, and some of them seem like they get resolved a little too quickly, or completely, I can't say ignored, because they all get addressed, but sometimes they get addressed so quickly, or issues arise like this, like out of nowhere. Like, it feels like there's like one scene ago it was fine, and then the next scene it's like abysmal. Like, you know, it's like a hard cut. Like, there was like 30 minutes of storyline that didn't get told because we needed to move the movie along, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'll just say, like, it'll be like a scene ago, Mark Kerr and his girl are like chill, you know, like they're having the best time, they're on vacation, or well, they weren't on vacation, I guess they were literally at an amusement park having a good time, you know what I'm saying? And then it just cuts to like them they're home now, and now they're just like in a fight, like a big argument, like the biggest thing in the world. And it's like the absolute whiplash that you get often in this movie because of the way that these things are done is a little strong, you know? It's just kind of like, it feels like I missed something, because we are kind of moving the storyline. We're telling these important pieces like really fast to the point where there's no like in between, and it doesn't hurt the movie too bad, but it's so noticeable that it kind of like takes you out of the movie for a bit, because it feels like you're missing things, even though you're not, because it's not there. There's nothing there on the screen to miss. It just feels like there's something that's not going on. Like, it feels like a documentary being told with chunks of the documentary removed from it to make it happen faster. And it does kind of encourage the plot line to be more entertaining to sit through, but it also feels like it's just chunks of the movie are missing, you know? So it's like not bad at all by any means. It's still a very good watch. I still recommend the movie. It's just that you feel that, or at least I did anyway. I can't speak for everybody, but it felt like things kind of happened too easily sometimes. But yeah. Also, I meant to say this earlier, but like I said, The Rock doesn't feel like The Rock in this movie as much as he feels like Mark Kerr. But I want to say this part, he literally shaves his head and just has nothing going on. So he literally just looks like The Rock, and my brain is still like, that's not The Rock. That's Mark Kerr. And that's how good of a performance that he's putting on. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I won't say it is an Oscar-worthy performance, I guess, but it's really good. It's definitely really good. And I just feel like he deserves his flowers for that performance. And so does Emily Blunt. And everyone that appears in that movie, including like his best friend / trainer. Like, I'm telling you, the way that the emotional stuff that you go through in this movie is it's kind of crazy, I'm gonna be honest, and I still recommend the movie. So now it's time for us to do our very last important thing. We have to look up the rating of this movie on Rotten Tomatoes and see if I agree with the rating, which I already said my rating. I believe that this movie is a 7 out of 10 movie. Very good, entertaining movie with a couple of flaws that kind of bring it down for me, but I want to know what the critics say on Rotten Tomatoes, and we will see together right now. So on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics say it is a 72%, and the audience says it's a 77%. We can clearly see here that I am agreeing with pretty much both of them. Like, if I had to actually like go, I feel like if I did a percentage, it would be 75. So I'm like right in between, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it was a very entertaining watch, and it just had very small flaws. I mean, not super small, I guess. Things that really took away from the movie for me personally, like that whole pacing thing kind of really messes it up with me sometimes. Especially sometimes it felt like things were not needed and got dragged out, or some things that were needed weren't in there. So that's why it goes down for me. But I honestly feel like I agree with both. I'm like right in between, you know what I'm saying? So do I agree with the ratings on the Smashing Machine? Yes, I absolutely do. There you have it, man. And if you haven't seen this movie, I kind of just spoiled the movie for you, obviously. And you're probably watching this because you've seen it already. But if you haven't, and I spoiled it for you, it's not crazy spoilers where I feel like you shouldn't go see it, okay? Go and see this movie, man, all right? It was a good movie. Shout out to The Rock, man, because I really was looking forward to something like this. I wanted to see you perform again. It's been a long time since I felt like I really got that, like, that feeling of like you had a compelling role that was more than just you being yourself, you know what I'm saying? I'm very happy to have seen this. If y'all like this video, please leave me a like at the bottom, and if you haven't subbed yet, you know exactly what to do. And without that being said, fellas, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, homies.